All right, good morning. Happy Friday to you. I hope you're having a really great start to your day and you're ready to get your morning over with so you can get into your weekend. So as I mentioned in the description, we are not going to get up. We're going to stay on the floor. So sometimes it helps if you have a blanket or a pillow just to sit the sit bones on the edge of your booty on, just to lift the hips up. So I have Grant sitting on the edge of a blanket. You can have like a beach towel under you if you don't have anything, or just a regular towel. Sometimes that's helpful. And then if you don't want anything and you're ready to get going, we'll go ahead and we'll just rock the sit bones from side to side so you can ground the booty really deep into the surface that you're sitting on. And then I want you to start with a smile on your face. And if we start going through the practice and get distracted, then hopefully you'll have something to pay attention to with the dogs. Seems like Grant's going to be the dog whisperer this morning. But as we get started here, I just want us to go ahead and close the eyes, keep that smile on your face. And we'll take 3 breaths in through the nose and out of the mouth. So all together, inhale deeply, open mouth, exhale. And do that 2 more times. Big, deep inhale. Open mouth, exhale. 1 more time slowly. Open the mouth, sigh everything out. You'll keep the lips sealed now. Keep the eyes closed. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. So sometimes we take ourselves a little bit too seriously, and especially as this whole situation of uncertainty keeps going on and on and on, we might get a little bit more stuck in this way of thinking of being stressed or having anxiety. So as we go into our weekend, maybe we lighten the load a little bit. Instead of watching those things that might bring us down, we watch those things that make us laugh and bring a smile to our face. Instead of saying something that might be hurtful, maybe you give someone a compliment. So take a moment, set an intention for your weekend, and take a couple of breaths to seal your intention within. And then we'll blink the eyes open, switch the crossing of the legs, and then re-rock the sit bones from side to side. So you just want to ground the booty back into the floor. And then when you're ready, we'll bring the arms out and up. Feel the palms touch overhead. And then exhale to bring the hands down to the heart. And we'll do that 2 more times. Inhale gently out and up. So if you can lengthen through the sides of the body as you bring the fingers together. And then exhale, use the exhale to bring the hands to the heart. 1 more time. Inhale out and up. Stretch all the way tall. And then exhale, hands come down to the heart. And then this time as we inhale the hands out and up, go ahead and lift the arms up. This time, exhale and twist towards the left. Bring the right hand on top of the left thigh. Use the back hand just to lift the heart and keep the spine straight. Take a big inhale into the body. And then when you exhale, let's gaze over that back shoulder. You don't want to press the neck or strain the neck here. Just see if you can find a light gaze with the eyes over the back of the shoulder. And then once you find that sweet spot, close the eyes and take a few breaths here slowly, keeping the lips sealed. Take 1 more cycle fully. And then we'll use our next inhale to come back to center with the hands, arms right alongside the ears. As you exhale, come all the way over to the right thigh. Left hand on top of the thigh, right hand to lift through the heart. Inhale again deeply into the body. And then as you exhale, gaze over the right shoulder. Soften the collarbone away from the chin. And then just gaze gently with the eyes as far back over that shoulder as possible. Take a full cycle of breath here. And then the inhale is going to bring us back to center, arms right alongside the ears. Reach the fingertips forward. As you exhale, you're going to bring the hands down to the mat forward in front of you. So you can walk the hands forward as far as it feels good for you, but I don't want the booty to lift up off the floor. So really feel the sit bones driving into the floor, but see if you can lengthen the fingertips forward. And then if the booty starts lifting, then that's when you know you want to stop. Keep pressing the palms into the floor. And then feel the chin tuck slightly. Can you feel the shoulder blades move down the back towards the sit bones? Pull the belly button towards the spine. And take a full breath here. You can even keep walking the fingertips forward as you feel the length in the back of the low back and in the sacrum. One last breath here to settle. Inhale to come back up to center. Let's go ahead and extend the legs out in front of you. Have a wider length with the legs, so as wide as a mat if you are on one. Reach the feet forward, and then on the inhale, let's bring the arms out and up. When you exhale, you're going to reach with the chest and come all the way down. Bring the hands down to the floor or to the thighs. If you want a little bit of leverage, you can grab onto the shins and then start to walk the hands down the thighs. Go ahead and grab onto opposite feet or ankles. And then see if you can reach the heart forward and soften the shoulders. It sounds like Bella does not like how that bed is feeling right now. As you tuck the chin towards the chest, move the collarbone away from the chin. And take another cycle of breath here. See if Grant can breathe through any of his distractions this morning. Take one more cycle here. You should feel the under part of the legs, so the hamstrings and the calves starting to lengthen. One more cycle of breath here. Then let's go ahead and come all the way up. Bring the feet back onto the floor now. And then I want you to bring the hands behind you with the fingertips pointing towards the sit bones. So I'll turn to the side to demonstrate. Hopefully Bruno doesn't beat Grant up too much. So fingertips are going to be pointing towards the sit bones, and then I want you to press into the palms. This might feel a little bit intense for the wrists, but we just want to stretch out the palms. And then if you want to add a little bit more for the thigh, let's bend and bring the right ankle on top of the left knee. You can walk the left foot out a little bit if it's too close, just to bring some space in. And then as you start to feel the right thigh open up, you can walk that left foot in closer. Feel the right knee press forward. And then at the same time, with the palms spread, keep pressing into the floor. Lift the sternum towards that right calf. And then let's close the eyes here and take 2 breaths. Nice and slow. Big, deep inhale. And a full exhale. One more breath in. And a full breath out. Let's go ahead and step the right foot down next to the left. Sit forward, shake the palms out. And then now we're going to come onto the forearms. So come back down onto come down onto the forearms. I'll scoot forward so I don't hit you there. And then you might want to stay here if that feels okay. Keep lifting through the chest. See if you can lift the sternum towards the knees. If this feels okay through the hips, and you want to go a little bit further, then let's add that left knee. Put the left ankle on top of the right knee and press the left knee forward. Keep pressing the heart forward. Soften the shoulder blades down the back and feel the collarbone move away from the chin. Take a couple of breaths here, breathing, seeing if you can settle into the pose. And then we'll step the left foot down next to the right. Windshield wiper the knees from side to side. If that doesn't feel good on the forearms, you can always come back up to the palms. You should feel this in the hips and the knees, maybe in the ankles. And if you widen the feet, you can get into the ankles as well. So especially if we're sitting a lot, we're not moving, we're staying in one place a lot, you might feel it a little bit more. One more breath. And then you're going to go ahead and come down to reclined all the way, and I'll let Grant demonstrate. And if you want, Grant, will you just turn sideways here with your back towards me? This is perfect, yeah. So lay all the way down onto the floor, bring the knees into the chest, and you'll wrap the arms around the shins, or if that's too much for you, then grab behind the knees. Sometimes it's a little bit easier to get the leverage into the low back. So once you find that position, take a breath here and see if you can soften through the low back. Sometimes we hold that tension in the low back and in the chest. So then maybe point and flex the feet. Get into the ankles. You can even do a couple of circles with them, pedal the feet out. And then I want you to keep the right knee hugged in to the chest and extend the left foot out straight. Keep the left foot flexed up towards the ceiling, and you'll rotate the inner left thigh to the floor. Perfect. As you hug the right knee into the chest, can you soften the shoulders just a little bit? And then roll out the right ankle towards the right. And go in big circles so you get the top of the foot as well, and then go in the opposite direction. And then you're going to pause here. Hold that right knee with the left hand. Open the right arm out to a T or a cactus. And you're going to take a big inhale into the body. As you exhale, you'll pull the right knee across the body, come into a twist. I want you to keep both shoulders, though, connected to the floor, wherever you are. And then if it feels okay for the neck, turn the gaze opposite of that left knee. Once you find that spot that feels good, take a big, deep breath in and a deep breath out. Really good. One more breath. And then when you inhale, come back into center, hugging the right knee into the chest. Step the left foot in towards the floor, and then place the right ankle on top of the left knee. Come into that figure four shape. Flex through the right foot, and then you'll feel the right knee press forward like we were doing earlier on our forearms and on the hands. So if this feels okay and you're feeling it in the hip and the inner thigh, you can stay here. If you want to go a little bit further, then you're going to pick up the left foot, interlace the hands around the left thigh. Perfect. And keep a flex in that left foot for me and see if you can keep the ankle in line with the left knee. So just lift your left foot up a little bit, Grant. Perfect. A little bit more. Nice. So now hug the left thigh closer to your chest. And then push the right knee away. And then hopefully you should be feeling this in the outer hips and possibly the inner thigh. Take another full breath wherever you choose to be. And then you'll release the left thigh, place the right foot down to the floor next to the left. And then just notice the difference now in the hips. Notice the low back, if there's any difference that you're starting to create that space, even changing the perception and perspective of your attention. And then you'll bring the left knee into the chest, extend the right knee out, flex the right foot up towards the ceiling, and then pause here for a moment. Hug the left knee as close to the chin as possible, but feel the left hip drive down to the floor. Then you can rotate out the left ankle going to the left to start. And then after you get a few rotations, pause and go in the opposite direction. Make sure to get the top of the foot. And then once you come into stillness, keep the foot flexed. Keep the knee held with the right hand, and let's open the chest out, or open the left arm out to a T or a cactus opening through the left side of the chest. You'll take a big, deep inhale into the body, and this is to give space into the body. And then as you exhale, you'll pull the knee across the body and come into your twist on the opposite side. And keep both shoulders on the floor. So if you need to, you can back off a little bit, but turn the gaze opposite of the knee if that feels okay for the neck. And then you'll take a full deep breath in, and then use the exhale to deepen the twist just a little bit. Take one more breath. And then on the next inhale, come back to center. Hug the left knee into the chest, and now you'll step the right foot back onto the floor. Place the left ankle on top of the right knee and keep a flex in the left foot. Feel that left knee driving forward. And if this feels good, and you might notice a difference in one side of the body compared to the other, the knee or the hip. So if that feels okay, you can stay here. Or if you want, you can lift the right foot off the floor and interlace the hands around the right thigh. Keep the right ankle in line with the right knee. So lift that right ankle just a little bit and keep a flex in the right foot. Perfect. As you pull the right thigh closer to the chin, feel the left knee press forward. Take a full cycle of breath here once you find that spot that feels really good to you. And take one more breath, maybe pulling that right thigh a little bit closer towards the chin. Feel the left knee push a little bit further forward. And then let's release the right thigh down to the floor. Step the left foot down next to the right. Keep the feet hip-width distance apart. You're just going to let the knees windshield wiper from one side to the other, coming onto the edges of both feet. Take a full cycle of breath here. And then let's pause here. Bring the knees back into the chest. Hug the knees in. Feel the sit bones drive down to the floor and push forward. It's almost like you're trying to reach your booty away from your chin. And then if that feels good, you should feel a nice stretch in the low back. I want you to bend the knees and come into a happy baby. So you'll bring the ankles above the knees, and you can grab for the outer edges of the feet or behind the knees like we were doing earlier. Sometimes it feels nicer just to pull the knees down towards the armpits. You can grab for the ankles or the outer edges of the feet or the toes. So this feels nice for the hamstrings. It gets into the low back. And then you can rock from side to side for a few breaths. If that feels good, you can also straighten through the legs if you like that. Take one more breath here. And then you'll release the hands from the feet. Bring the feet all the way down to the floor. Engage the core. Bring the knees into the chest. And then two ways. You can either keep the core engaged, use the core and momentum to rock forward to seated, or you can roll on one side and press up into seated. So we'll come back to that comfortable seated position. Thank you for demonstrating, Graham.
Yeah.
Luckily, Brianna didn't lick your face off. Well, rock your sit bones back from side to side. And we're going to start with this right hand down onto the floor. The other way that you can do it that I was practicing with last night is coming to the top of the hand. So for me, my wrists are really tight. This might be a good opportunity and a good way to stretch the top of the hand and the top of the wrist. So whichever feels better for you. So you can put that top hand down onto the floor. You're going to use that left arm to go over the left ear. Keep both sit bones connected to the floor and then soften through that left shoulder blade. Can you rotate the pinky down to the floor and the thumb up towards the ceiling? And keep leaning over towards the right. Keep pressing that weight into the top of the right hand or into the palm. One more full cycle of breath here. And then use the inhale. Let's come back to center with the right hand. Use the exhale to come over to the opposite side. So the palm comes down or the top of the left hand. And then you'll use the right hand to lift up and over the right ear, leaning over to the left. And then just notice the difference in the wrists, the forearms, and even how the sides of the body feel. Pinky rotates down, thumb rotates up. Soften the collarbone, soften the shoulder blade down the back. And keep feeling length across the right side of the torso. One more full breath. And then we'll inhale, come back to center with both hands. Reach the fingertips up. When you exhale, we're going to come into a cactus pose. Bring the elbows out wide. So pull the shoulder blades together. Lift the sternum towards the chin. Grow tall through the back of the neck. So don't lift the chin up too high so you're opening through the neck, but you don't want the chin tucked too much. See if you can find nice neutral position so you feel the length through the crown. And then we'll take one more breath in, lifting through the chest. Keep lifting the belly button up towards the sternum. And as you exhale, let's bring the right elbow underneath the left. Backs of the hands are going to touch, or maybe you circle the palms to touch. Press the elbows forward. Press the palms away from the face. And see if you can soften the tops of the shoulders away from the ears. Close the eyes. Take a few breaths here. Notice if you brought any tension into the jaw. Did you start to squint the eyes? Maybe the shoulders are starting to creep up to the ears. Take one more breath to find softness here. And then we'll use our inhale to unwind the arms back to cactus. Pull the shoulder blades together behind the back. Take another breath here. And we'll take one more breath in to grow tall and lengthen into the body. The exhale will wrap the left hand underneath the right. Backs of the hands are going to touch, or maybe you circle the palms. Elbows lift in line with the shoulders. Press the forearms away. Soften the tops of the shoulders away from the ears. Close the eyes. See if you can find softness in the face and come back to your breath. Notice if you started to bring that tension into the thighs and the hips. Soften the mind. Take one more full cycle of breath here. Use your next inhale to open back up to cactus. Pull the shoulder blades together behind the back. When you exhale, let's bring the hands down to the tops of the knees. Pull the feet together so that the soles of the feet are touching. And if this doesn't feel good, if the heels are too close, you can always extend the heels away from you. If you have a little bit more flexibility in the inner thighs, then start to bring the heels closer towards the pelvis. The thumbs are going to come into the inner arches. Lift through the sternum, press the elbows into the thighs. You'll take a big, deep breath. Typically, I like the back to be flat, but if it feels good, you can round the back and bring the chin towards the chest, almost like you're trying to bring the forehead down. If you want to keep a flat back, there's just a different feel in it. You lengthen through the back, but maybe you try to see what feels good for you today. We're all pressing the elbows into the thighs, though, to open up the inner thighs. And feel the collarbone moving away from the chin. Keep pressing the feet together. And then once you find that spot that works for you, Come into complete stillness. Take 2 breaths. And then before we come up, you're going to use your thumbs to start massaging the bottoms of the feet, getting into the pressure points. So we spend so much time forgetting about our feet that carry us around all day. We shouldn't be taking them for granted. A lot of people have trouble walking themselves. So if we take a little bit of time, give a little bit of love to our feet, that'll give a little bit of love back to us. Take 1 more full cycle of breath here. And then we'll bring the feet out straight. You can keep the feet together this time. Keep the sit bones grounded onto the floor. Lift up through the sternum. And I want you to bring the hands right next to the hips. So this might feel a little bit uncomfortable because we're not really used to sitting like this, but I want you to lift up tall through the spine. Keep the hands tented next to the hips. You're pressing the fingertips into the floor. Shoulder blades are slightly pulling together behind the back so the heart lifts. Grow tall through the back of the neck. You'll take a full cycle of breath here. Close the eyes as you find staff pose. Keep the eyes closed. Stay here if it feels good for you, or start to walk the hands forward, coming into a narrow leg forward fold. Keep the ankles connected if they are. Keep reaching the heart down towards the toes and the chin slightly tucked. Take a full breath. Bring the belly button towards the spine. And then use your next inhale. And we'll all come back up to center, stacking the spine. We're going to come onto the shins. If the shins don't feel good for you to end your practice, then you're going to stay in a comfortable seated position. If the shins are okay and being on the knees is okay, then go ahead and come onto the knees. If you have the flexibility in the hips and the booty can touch all the way to the floor and there's no space between your sit bones and the floor, then feel free to have the feet split and the sit bones on the floor. Make sure, though, that the knees are hugging towards one another and you're lifting up tall. If that's uncomfortable for the hips and the knees, then you're going to stack the spine on top of the heels. Keep the knees pressing in towards one another. Wherever you choose to be, we're pulling the belly button towards the spine. Lift up through the heart. Pull the shoulder blades together behind the back. Palms are going to be resting on the thighs. Pull the ears in line with the shoulders. Close the eyes here. And just bring all of your awareness back to the breath. And then so can we let go or remind ourselves to let go and to smile when things are getting a little bit more challenging. And it's up to each one of us to choose our reaction. It's up to each one of us on to choose what we say and how we speak to one another. So maybe putting kindness and happiness first as we enter our weekend will also help lighten any burdens that we might be feeling. Keep the eyes closed. Bring the hands together in front of the heart. Take this last and final breath to direct all of your awareness and all of your focus to someone that enters into your mind and heart first. And then I want you to take this last and final breath to think about gratitude, finding something in this moment that you are truly grateful for. And then wrap those two things up. Put a smile back on your face. Deep breath in and a deep breath out. Blink the eyes open. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thanks so much for your time and your support today. The dogs always quiet down at the end of practice because that's when they found their peace too. It's kind of funny how that works. So think about that. We always start our day off, or we go through our day maybe frazzled, but there's always a way that we can come back and find that peace for ourselves. It's up to us to choose that. It's not up to anyone else. It's no one else's fault or anyone else's problem, except up to us to choose the peace that we want to have within. So I hope that you take whatever you have learned off the mat. Maybe it was, I hope you smiled and laughed at Bruno trying to beat Grant up, but I hope that you take a little bit of a lighter side off the mat into the weekend. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.